Well, good morning, everybody. It's Chris over at Dixieland Farm, and today I'm going to be doing a flight from Pensacola, Florida to Louisiana, going to New Orleans, Mardi Gras time. I went from Orlando to Pensacola. I recorded that flight, and I had the worst landing. And the reason why I had the worst landing is I turned on the experimental flight model, which I wasn't used to, and maybe this plane's got tricks that it's just not going to work with. And also the first time I ever used VNAV. So I'm going to actually take a second swipe at using VNAV. What ended up happening is it just put me in a position that was bad, and then I couldn't recover from it, and then basically I didn't have time to go around, so which happens a lot because the time I've got here to fly is small. So here we are. You can see we're in Pensacola. This is like a 35-minute flight. We've already got everything figured out here, taking off, going, doing this arrival, and I believe we're doing the Yankee here. Though I'll just double check that, opposed to the Zulu RNAV. And so the difference between RNAV and ILS is the ILS has radio transmitters that are actually sending signals, but the RNAV is basically just GPS or other. It gets complicated, but basically GPS to kind of guide you, and it knows where you are and where you kind of should be. So the minimums are different. It's not as accurate, but it's getting close to it. I mean, 300 feet above the ground opposed to 200 feet above the ground. It's pretty close. So I do want to experiment with this mode and get to it. So we are again in the Mad Dog 80, and we've got our cargo doors open. We've got the outside door open, and I've already programmed in the FMS for our route. It's a pretty simple route. And nobody's online. It's 7:24 a.m. on a Sunday, and I made coffee. I never make coffee, but what a treat. Okay, so I'm going to close and button up everything right now, so let's go ahead and get that no smoking sign on, and the seatbelt signs are on, and we're also going to close those cargo doors, and we're also going to go outside and close this main door. And since nobody's on, let's go ahead and start.
Ground to cockpit, tow is driving up.
So once the EGTs calm down here, which should be very shortly, we can go ahead and start the engine one. Alright, so Pensacola traffic, this is Continental 5522, taking runway 8 for a westbound departure. Pensacola. Alright, so did a rolling here. Confirmed runway 8. Flap set. Speed check. Fuel pumps on. Alright, rolling takeoff. Let's go. So I'm holding down the yoke so we get some speed going here. 80. Airspeed is alive. 120. 140. V1 and rotate. Positive rate, gear up. And we're just going to hold this until we get to like 1,000 feet. Then we'll make our turn. So we went out over the water and we're basically crossing right over the runway. But we're at 5,000 feet, so we're kind of out of the way doing that. Plus we helped with noise abatement, so at least that's my thinking. And here in Florida, we've got Orbic's True Earth scenery. You can see how beautiful that really looks. It's got the satellite pictures and then real world objects kind of thrown down. A lot better than what you could generate yourself. And so once we've cleared here, This is when we were going to imagine that the controller said, okay, you are clear up to your assigned altitude, which was 2600. So dialing in 2600 here and putting in a vertical speed of 2,000 feet a minute. So I believe that's the Air Force base over there. So. If I recall, Turkey Lake Park, or Turkey Creek Sanctuary we went to, is somewhere around over here. Okay, so we're doing the RNAV-Y. So we're basically flying over the airport, and then we're hitting reserve VOR, and then coming back around again. And at figure, we're supposed to be at 2,000 feet. Is there anything interesting on the slid arrival here? So there are no altitude restrictions here. Expect clearance to cross slid at 11,000 feet. Okay. Not in there. Let's put that in there. Looks like we got one pilot here. We got Sam Castle. He's going from New Orleans to Washington. And the nice thing about the program I use, Swift, is we can actually check him out. And there he is. What I haven't figured out how to do is zoom in yet. So we're at the top of descent now. Are we going to see this thing click over? Or do I have to dial in something? I pulled it, and that put in the 11,000 constraint. Get that landing lights going. Nobody's near us, so we don't have to worry about that. I'm looking on the map on my other screen. We're starting our turn here, and you can see it did not honor going down to 3,000 feet. So we pull it again, and now we got 3,000 feet. So we have to actively click it. So you can see this isn't too bad. This is the SFD Global ground textures, but the ex-America buildings. So there's still buildings everywhere as we fly over New Orleans here. So it's got the vertical speed, it's handling it again, so all I did was just turn it back on again, but you may have noticed I had to flick the auto throttle on and off to get it to actually work. But it's in VNAV mode right now, so. It's weird. I think you have to constantly hit the button to put in the next altitude restriction. Right next to us, and of course we're flying out and then back around again so we can get onto runway 11. Now we could do this visually, but I am trying to experiment with the RNAV. So I will make a call. New Orleans traffic, this is Continental 5522, crossing over the airport. We're going to be coming in on the RNAV runway 11, so we're going out to the reserve VOR and coming back in. New Orleans. If I look at the radar, there's nobody here, but still, it's always important to make a call, or you should. So here's our complicated pattern to come around, and we're probably going to have to vector ourselves out realistically. So let's go ahead and do that. So here we go. We're going to vector ourselves out. How do we do that? First thing you got to do is you got to click FMS, then click heading. Now it's in heading mode. So interesting watching it climb up and then back down again as we passed by what it thought it needed. So I've changed it again because we're so close. You have to kind of keep putting in the direct to, otherwise you won't actually get to where you intend to do it. So now we're on track and we can get that heading synced up. New Orleans traffic, this is Continental 5522 on a 12-mile final for runway 11, full stop, New Orleans. Yeah, I just couldn't get it going, so it's crazy. I hit VNAV. I'm hitting it, but nothing's happening, but it doesn't matter. There's a runway right in front of me, so.
$100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Come on, you can do it. Just missed that one, but that's all right. So we'll take the next available left here. You can see the frame rate's just a little bumpy. That's probably because I got the radar. Yeah, once I turn the radar off, it's still a little bumpy. We never did put on our taxi lights because I was distracted by the RNAV nonsense. And you can always learn from that. If it's not doing what you want, turn it off. You fly the plane, not the autopilot. The autopilot is a tool for you. All right, so we are cleaning up the airplane by turning off the landing lights. We're going to stop. I just did the flaps. Anything else we need to do, we can go ahead and actually start. You know, everyone talks about Microsoft Flight Simulator, but this looks still pretty good to me. So here we go. Great flare. Just held it off and kiss the ground. I think that's a great. Probably could have flared just a little bit more, but nah. And boom. Yeah, nah, that's good. I got the reversers in. Folks, here we are. Successfully landed. What a good flight. I was quite happy with that, and also the VNAV is good, but kind of useless when it gets down to the actual landing of it. It's just easier to just dial in the amounts and get yourself down. But yeah, I'll still keep working at it because it's great. Usually it can cut short your time, but you have to basically take over and just fly it visually at some point. So, for the Big Silent Farm, everybody, thanks so much for watching. Take care.